Like every sane, thinking person, you know who you are, and what is yours. You have an ego that you live for and which makes you live by its needs, desires and interests. However, serving your reasoning self, you are seldom contented and happy. On December 27 of 1987, after reading a book, something happened to me that has radically changed my thinking, my consciousness. An inner earthquake that shattered in me everything that was the firm basis of my life till that point, and showed me that the human being, the self I thought I was, is not my real self at all. The book hypnotized me, enchanted me, entranced me. The consciousness I met there was pulling me irresistibly, as an industrial magnet would pull a pin.
One cannot measure the value of meditation. When we meditate, we enter into our source. The source is the infinite, eternal, and the immortal in us. So when we establish a free access to our infinite capacities within us, we feel that we can be of dedicated service to humanity.
When I was a child of 10 or 11, in a new church, inspired by my mother, I expressed 3 wishes to the Almighty, and I was in earnest. The first was that I got a peaceful wife. The second, that I would be rich enough to support my parents, as they always quarreled over money. The third was that regardless of my profession, I could do something that is good for humanity as a whole. This last wish was a dream hard to accomplish. Some years later, I swore a blood oath with a friend that I would never give up my eternal dream to leave the communist Romania. Our dreams are inner realities that we can turn into actual realities with faith and perseverance. When I came to Vienna in 1979, I thought that all the problems of my life were over. At last I had left behind the two-faced, sticky mire of communism, and I was looking forward to the fancies made of sausages among all the friendly, honest people of Austria. And then came the backlash of my naivety, my childish mentality. I was cheated once, then twice. At that time I thought I was the victim, but today I know that I was only experiencing the consequences of my outer and inner lifestyle. After this I started to copy the world around me. I took a vow that I would not take the short straw anymore. so I tried to cheat others before they had a chance to cheat me. I was everything but sincere, and for this I suffered. I was looking for a different way of life, but I did not know what. I was looking for the inner strength that would solve everything. Is there such a thing? It was at Christmas of the year 1987 that I found a book, Meditation by Sri Chinmoy. To tell the truth, I was not the least bit interested in meditation. It was the photo of the author that made the decision for me. His gaze captivated me. I felt that he did not have to look for inner strength. Then I said to myself, I don't care what meditation is, but I want to become like this man, looking silently at me from the photo, but at the same time seeing beyond me. His eyes taught me to aspire and to establish in me a constant state of aspiration. For me, his eyes and the world beyond them was a mystery which would not give me rest. I was determined to decipher this secret and experience it myself. It is hard to change and remain changed when the people surrounding you, your near and dear ones, do not let themselves be changed, if they are not your partners but your hindrance. I was lucky, we went through the transformation simultaneously. Meditation replaces everything. Changes come not in the family only, but also at work. Whatever your occupation is, I guess you think too much. Most of our spontaneous thoughts are unproductive. They only drain energy away from our actual performance. They distract our attention and make us weary during the day. In my early career as a dentist, I would be thoroughly exhausted each Friday evening after work, and my head was humming. It was filled with noise. Then I went home from work and was very irritable. The kids banging the door or making noise was enough to make me mad. After the third or fourth beer, the noise subsided and peace was setting in. This used to be my approach to gain peace of mind. After some years of meditation, on a Friday evening, I was driving home from my office with my wife. While driving, I noticed the humming and the noise in my head were gone, but were still around. Somehow, the noise hovered next to me, above my shoulder, but no longer in me. It no longer bothered me. This I told to my wife, who warned me against talking about these experiences in public. She was convinced that any audience would readily diagnose me with lunacy. Although it is our inner self that we have to realize at the expense of our ego, yet this must happen here on earth, in our physical body. The body is the chance for us to achieve the goal. Therefore, the health and the fitness of the body is essential. Previously, I would not run even to catch the tram. I was sparing myself. I considered it irresponsible if grown people took to running, as they might leave their children orphaned. I used to take my sons to the Vienna forest for some exercise, as kids need it for healthy growth. But I myself stopped at the brasserie. That bench there had a magnetic power indeed. Now, with the new lifestyle, it was my turn. No matter how much I loathed running, I had to get into the grind of transformation. In great agony, I was waggling my beer belly from tree to tree by the Danube, and I felt I was pregnant. At that time, I couldn't imagine that these grueling jogs would one day turn into cheerful marathons and even 100k runs. The key is that every day you take a step more than the last day. I read in the book that for the consciousness it would be better not to eat meat. But back then I said that while the author was an Indian, I was a born secular, who, as everyone knows, is a carnivore if he can afford. My favorite sandwich was a salami between two Wiener schnitzels. So I did not feel the slightest inclination to become a vegetarian, only to meditate. But meditation worked to such an extent that one day I was unable to eat meat, and the next few days it was the same. Facing my fate boldly, I started to make my will, as I clearly took my symptoms for stomach cancer. But then I got an inner message in meditation saying, "You are not ill, only I do not want you to eat meat." "And who are you?" I asked. "I am your soul," came the answer. "You have a rather stupid hobby," I remarked. Once more I tried a Wiener Schnitzel, hoping that my soul had given up its hobby, but I failed and I had to spew and brush my teeth. One can manifest his inner potentials when he is ready to take the hand offered to him by his soul. Then these people will have much higher accomplishments, transcending themselves. One person in whose case the connection between body and soul is most spectacularly manifested is Ashrita Furman, of whom I am proud of, not just because he is my companion on the spiritual path, but because I consider him a real brother of mine. Ashrita became famous as the holder of most Guinness records ever.
Hooray! I never really set out to be the person who has the most records. I only do each record because I love the feeling that I get from using the meditation to become the best in the world at something, and in something that maybe I couldn't even dream that I could do. As I say, I don't take any credit for these because I didn't do them. Ashrita, the human being, did not do these records. It was, I give the credit to the meditation, I give the credit to my teacher, Sri Chinmoy, I give the credit to my soul, but I really, didn't have that much to do with it. And so, it's all the meditation. And, I think every single person can make giant leaps of progress in their own life using the power of meditation. So, I try to encourage everybody to meditate because meditation is a treasure that we all have, and it's something natural. Every person can meditate, and so you have a treasure. So you have $1 billion inside of you. Why are you not spending it? Why are you not? You need. Okay, so you need, let's say, a PIN number to access your $1 billion, but it's easy. You could learn your PIN number. You just have to learn how to meditate.
When I finished the book, I made a promise that for a year I would live the way Master Sri Chinmoy teaches. I knew nothing about the soul or a master, but one thing I knew, that this book would change my life. I said to myself that if I could endure 30 years of communism, come what may, a year following these teachings, I could manage. And so I set my alarm for the next morning so that I can sit down early for the first meditation of my life. On December 27, I was up before 6 o'clock. I took a shower, put on comfortable clothes and sat down at my desk to meditate. I had cut out from the book a special picture of Sri Chinmoy that I wanted to meditate on. I didn't have any expectations, since I was to try something I knew nothing about. I didn't even know that one can have inner experiences in meditation. It was a Sunday after Christmas. Silence in the city, silence in the house, silence in the room. I was shocked to feel someone standing behind me and two soft warm hands touching the nape of my neck and holding my head. They were rather small, dry, warm hands. I had my heart in my mouth out of fear. The hands suddenly pulled my head upwards with a jerk. That moment I felt my head growing. It became twice, thrice as big as before, and it was a good feeling. I had hardly come to my senses when the hands jerked again. Now my head became about a meter big. With the third jerk, my head filled the whole room, and my body, hands and torso also expanded together with my head. It was at about the fourth or fifth impulse that I rose above our house. Now I could see the entire city of Vienna, with the streets, churches sparkling with light. At the next moment I experienced such a growth that I was now viewing Earth from outer space. Amazingly, Earth was in my body. My head was above, so I could see the curve of the globe. The expansion was breathtaking, not only for its extent, but also for its suddenness. After each surge, I had to take a deep breath, and after each surge, I felt that this was the end. It is impossible to expand anymore, but the next surge convinced me of the opposite, and then I again decided that this was the infinite until the next impulse came. I simply could not comprehend that there is no end to the infinite. There is no state that is the infinite, as it is immeasurable. You cannot delimit it with a feeling, a thought, or a sentence. It was a wonderful feeling to exist freely in space, with a boundless body, to float or even throb. Huge planets crossed my body here and there. By now, the periods between two surges had slowed. Because of the endless expanse, everything became tranquil, while the extent of the expansion became incomprehensible. But then I got scared that I would not find my way back to Earth. I was afraid that in my consciousness I would never again be human, while I had two sons and I felt responsible for them. One will inundated me back, to be back, and it was granted. I was falling from the infinite to my little desk. From the window of my room, as I looked up at the starry sky and down to earth, the pang of separateness bit into me. "Oh, my Lord, let me go back," I implored. As an answer, I immediately knew that all that up there is my real world, and I can have free access to it, since somehow it is all inside me. I only have to continue, or rather walk along my path. Then, one by one, the experiences and realizations came in my meditation. Sometimes I became the heavy mass of the planet. Then I was molded into the consciousness of an animal. Sometimes I experienced other people in me. At others, I saw myself in the eyes of strangers in the street. I saw myself beyond time, and I saw that there is light where I came from, and there is also light where I go. And in between the two, I saw many human faces that were all me. It took me years and decades till I could give up the fight within me and realized that my real self is Him, who is the infinite. And presently I, in my finite human personality, am only His actor, and in this cage of time and space I should play my role worthy of Him. The Jesuit priest Teilhard de Chardin said, "We are not human beings having spiritual experiences, but spiritual beings having human experiences."